These videos are brought to you by MSCCasino.com and the Macau Sporting Club. MSCCasino.com, check it out. Also, be sure to check out PF Painters and their website, pfpainters.com.
You are watching Sports Matters TV.
Okay guys, Sports Matters TV, and yet again another special, joined by the committee, the guys that I suppose, they do all the stuff behind the scenes. Ivan, Karl and also Gavin. Ivan, I'm going to go to you first. Quick introduction, let us know what you're up to, what you do, and your role within, I suppose, Pool in Cork.
Well, currently I'm the vice chairperson. I've been involved, I suppose, since 1999, and still on the committee for about 20 odd years. Looking at the sport itself is thriving at the moment, and it's fantastic to see, and I congratulate the lads there on winning the men's senior team this year. It's the second time that we've won it, which is strange enough, but that tells you how hard it is to win it. The last time would have been back in 2010. 2011, and we ended up getting to the final. Unlucky not to win it there. They're playing Cavan, which was a phenomenal side. They had all Irish international players on the team at the time. We might have had only just one or two. But if you look at it there now, like you said, like you see the lads there now, as they were talking earlier, like Riser, Gary, and Greg Casey and that there, and then the likes of young Sean Walsh, I suppose they're raising the bar, and it's just fantastic to see it. When it started off, pool, I suppose, since the mid-70s, it was very strong with a lot of teams there at the time. Then it kind of faded off. I suppose I came onto the committee then, just for the love of the sport, I suppose, and didn't know much about it, to be honest with you. And just put a lot into it, a lot of time, a lot of paperwork. That has all changed, thanks to some of the lads on the committee, likes of Dave Larkin, who created an app. And with that then, like, it's instant then. We've matches on, our youth teams are doing selections, all that kind of stuff. It's really advanced, and that's the way things are kind of going. Again, that's down to different committees that were there over the years. As some of the lads might have mentioned before, then you had the likes of Sean Walsh was there for 20 odd years. He retired and left it. And then you had the likes of Gordon Cooney, Edward St. Ledger, and like Paul Higgins, as someone mentioned here, from around the Red Cove. Then you had the lads then came onto it there the last couple of years. The likes of Karl, the current chairperson. You have Stephen Walsh, who's the secretary, and you have Dave, as I mentioned there. Then you have Eamon Dolan, and you Donovan, and myself, obviously. Then we have Gavin into it, and like the work is just phenomenal. But then it's all about one thing: teamwork. And with the teamwork, then like you've a good foundation, and from there, then things will go on. Then and that's it.
And like you do have a fundamental role within obviously the team and obviously behind the scenes. Obviously you have a lot of, I suppose your weeks are quite busy, a lot of organising, getting stuff ready.
Oh, there is, yeah.
You obviously enjoy that. Like, can you remember your first kind of memory of pool in Cork? Can you remember like a young kid or I suppose teenagers?
When I started off, I said like I was about 18. I started off in Cove, like I suppose. But for me then, I went to a county game. Then that was I think it was on in Cork actually, down in Mallow. My first time seeing that kind of side of it. And then from there, then you get the buzz of it, like, and you said like you get young. It's nice to see young players get involved. There was a young kind of academy years ago. Now things have changed for that, but we'll be looking into something like going forward. But there was the likes of some players that were there. Then young Sean Walsh there now in particular, we'd say, and obviously now he's raised the bar. Then then you have I said we have trying to get introduced then in women's. There was the players there years ago. Some wasn't playing out the last couple of years, but all of a sudden now, like, we've 3 or 4 kind of playing at the moment, which is fantastic. And we're looking to introduce a women's team into the All-Irelands for next year. All going well,
Definitely. Yeah. Now, man next to you, Karl, obviously, chairman, a man that's known, like all of you, across Cork for the hard work you put in. What a year it's been. The last 12 months have been incredible. Tell us about your role in, I suppose, your weekly activity as chairman.
To be honest, on weekly activity from, I'd say, the leagues really stopped off first for us in early September. We normally hold our AGM at the end of August, and we go into September starting with leagues throughout the whole season, and this goes across every bar that has a pool team or teams in it across the city. So we currently seen the growth from years ago. There might be 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, some would drop back over the years and come back, and a lot of that was down to changes in rules and fellas working their lives and commitments and on shift work and stuff. Gary mentioned earlier, some of the snooker lads came over. Gary was playing snooker, Riser, myself, Greg Casey, all the lads who's played snooker over the years. We're finding a lot of snooker players, even up and down the country. You see David Hogan playing this year in the semi-final against Tony Moore, top Irish international snooker player. You see him in the UK. But for pool in Cork, the rules have changed so many times over the last 4 or 5 years. Over the last 15, 20 years, long before I was involved. I'm not playing pool that long myself, maybe 8 to 10 years playing. I was all into snooker and looking after Cork snooker and stuff as chairman and stuff over the years too, and doing work with the lads. And then I was asked to come in because the committees that were there, previous committees who'd done the best of what they had. Gary mentioned there are some of the names that Cork pool probably still would not be here today for him, especially the man next to me here, Glavin Gavin, who put in Trojan work to keep it alive. And something just changed in Cork pool for me. What happened is snooker players came in, the rules were being upgraded. So years ago, as you know, John, if you were a young player, it was like follow last ball or pick a pocket. Then it went to, we say, European rules, world rules, and now we're at international rules. And it's all a classier game, the quicker games. These lads, you don't get second chances against them. We came in as a committee. We tried to work with the IPA, which is the governing body in Ireland, and we also worked in with, we say, SBR and the snooker. Some of the lads would have tournaments on, so we kind of put tournaments on to allow them to go to other tournaments. And previous committees were dealing with stuff like that too. But this year's committee, as Ivan said, we went more digital. Dave Larkin created apps for fellas to get in and out, the live streaming and stuff that was there. No, there was live streaming before too. But we kind of changed with the times to bring it up to where other places are, other countries were. The lads practice morning and night, giving it their heart, the facilities we have. But you can imagine when we're trying to fit in so many tournaments ourselves a year from September to June, going from leagues to cups to Beamish Cup, Knockout Cup, Fast Cup. Then we have the Sean Coffey Moore, Jason Long. Then we do individuals in A and B standards. So there's also B individual and B leagues there. And then you have to try and fit in the All-Irelands on top of that. And the treasurer we have at the moment there, Steve Walsh, who's dealing with the Glen Eagle nearly every day of the week. And the IPM are collecting money and sending it off. And taking on, looking after the All-Irelands was a huge challenge. It's a challenge we've done for the last 2 or 3 years, even with Edward and Gary were involved 2 years ago with us as well on the committee, and Edward was involved for years, I was involved for years, and some of the other names that were branded. But it's a very, very tight schedule. You cannot imagine the work that's involved in it, trying to get your own tournaments, facilitate fellas being away at other tournaments, being away representing Ireland, their country, and then to put the All-Irelands to organise 5 days from prepping, practice, trials, as Gavin mentioned earlier, then accommodation side of it, and then of course our sponsors coming in helping us out, which reduce the cost of all that. So it's just non-stop. To be honest, when it comes May, June, I can't wait just for the break and we get back. I won't lie to you, know.
And
But other than that,
it must be rewarding knowing now Cork are All-Ireland champions. Like the
huge.
weeks, the days, the months of hard work.
huge. That's where we get our kick. We're a non-voluntary organisation. Everything that goes into Cork Pool goes back out to our members. Everything's accounted for through bank statements, and everything was accounted for in the past through bank details, which are announced at every AGM at the end of the year. But the standards got high, the rules changed. The lads, for me, I suppose, considering playing 8, 9, 10 years in pool and spent all night snooker, for the lads to come in, I think they could have won it and probably should have won it more over the last 15 years, and they didn't, which is unusual because of the class of players that are there. But for Gavin and Nolly this year, now the other manager with Gavin, who was involved in over 60s events as well down there, and they have a phenomenal team where they won all Ireland titles as well in the last couple of years, and they were unlucky not to retain their title this year, beaten in the final by a very strong Meath team. These are stalwarts of fellas that are there for donkey's years, putting in fierce work, keeping it alive. We came in, as the rules changed to international rules, we brought in the committee, we just put everything online. Anything goes into the accounts, you can actually click on an app now, all the terms come up and you can decide which one you want to go into, and you can pay on your card, and it's as simple as that. And then you come down and do this, but the work, paperwork to back it all up, meeting with sponsors, doing all that, it's just Trojan work, to be fair to everyone in the committee. But the rewards for us at the end is what we got, the titles we brought back, to see the lads' faces and they jumping all over each other, they achieve what they achieved, it's phenomenal, and we just hope that they continue to do that for the next couple of years, you know.
Definitely. And look, we mentioned obviously the leagues across Cork. Like there's so many bars. I think the bars I've always heard of obviously the KLM, the Red Cove, obviously Quinlan's. You know what I mean? There's many bars across Cork that are thriving, but it's fair to say it's getting better and better. There's more teams now. You know what I mean? More people want to come through the doors and play. It must be encouraging for you to see that. And obviously, look, it's down to the credit and hard work you're putting in.
It's phenomenal, to be honest. Right? You look at players, even when the facilities opened here first day, and then the facilities we have here in Cork. We saw fellas coming in here. Gary was involved here as well at one stage. We saw players coming in here who would be just taking up the game. They were young fellas, they were missing balls, they practice. You wouldn't give them an inch now coming in there because they're playing so much, 4 or 5 days a week, practicing. They want to catch the Ryan Cronins, they want to try and beat the Garys or the Great Caseys, or we say the likes of Kevin Ray and all the lads, they're the top players that will be out there. So to do that, as Gavin said there in the previous interview, you need to be practicing. A lot of fellas are there and they don't want to play them because they're too good. That's why there's an A and B standard in Cork, but you'll be surprised how many of the B still go into some of the A teams to try and push themselves. The growth in teams, obviously, we had a couple of extra teams this year. We have another 2 or 3 extra bars coming in this year again. I even touched on, we had 2 girls involved in the All-Ireland singles this year. At the moment it looks like we have 4, which will probably allow us to put in a women's singles team. And again, it isn't just me being chairman, the effort put in by all the lads on the board. People have to consider the time, because it's a non-profit obviously and it's pure voluntary. The lads trying to get time off, as you said, will going to Clarny for 5 long days. The committee members are there. But then all year round they're away organising stuff as well, and they're at tournaments and trials. So the time away from home from these lads has to be applauded for what they do, you know. But as a committee chairman, to oversee the work that's been done, where we are now, going forward to try and win more titles, the calibre of players we have is just, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I've been around and sometimes even when I'm not involved myself, just to sit down and watch these lads is phenomenal, the standard of pool that's being played, you know.
How far can they go? Like, we're looking at the top players in world pool right now. These fellas can probably go on and do it all the way, can't they? Like, you know, you're looking at the money that's been made. Like the top pool players, you know what I mean? They're making a lot of money, but like the lads in Cork, I know, could really make an impact over the next few years.
Well, the standard in Cork from the A team, the seniors team, all the way through to the 4 main teams, which we say B, C and D team, as some people call them, but they'll be different names like junior B team, intermediate team. But you also have a lot of fellas who don't make the teams, who want to learn, want to have a go, and they go into the singles themselves even if they don't make a team. But there's probably 7, 8 players here for me in Cork that could go on to wherever they need to go with it. Young Sean O'Connell was phenomenal in pool. I've seen Sean playing as young for instance. I've seen him playing in pool, I've seen him international level, and I can tell you the pool I saw him down in Clarny even blew me away. Blew a lot of people away. He was just on it, ridiculous. You take the Gary Brackens, the Ryan Cronins, the Greg Caseys, Kevin Rayons, Edward Walsh's. You could go through all of them. Those 8 players there could go all the way, go to any tournament they want. They're all well capable of winning, they're all well capable of taking home titles and trophies. And again, the lads, it's not like years ago, as Gary gave a comment earlier on saying, pool years ago used to be a 1 night a week out, getting away from the wife or the partner and the kids, and it was a chill out time, it was fun time. Like these lads are practicing 4 or 5 nights a week now. And then they're looking at the All-Ireland. So all the lads know this year they're on teams. They're already want to know what dates they're on next year, even though it's starting a day earlier on the Tuesday. So it's Tuesday to Sunday now, which will be 6 days. Starting earlier, they're already putting their dates, taking time off work or working around their family, because they want to be there. You'd want to be there, you want to be enjoying, and I truly believe if you really are enjoying your game, you will play your top pool, like, you know.
Definitely. And look, as chairman, you obviously set your targets, and yet again, not sugarcoating it, the last couple of years have been immense.
Yeah.
And years prior have been immense, but there's definitely been a change these last couple of years. We're seeing it a lot more online, and teams are popping up, people are hearing more. Obviously your goals are on target, and you've got many more goals for time to come.
Yeah, well, we set our targets, and we do appreciate the kind feedback that we do get. I won't lie to you, it is hard work, even at home, at work, while you're off work, then you're at tournaments and trying stuff, but like, I love watching lads play. I love the sport itself. I love the snooker, the pool, but it's all about the pool here now at the moment. And Ultimate Pool have a lot to do on TV too, because people can go on TV and they look and say, that's fantastic, where can I go and pick that up? We're getting messages online saying, how can I take it up, how can I learn the rules? That's obviously leading to new pubs and teams coming in as well. So to have your targets there, they don't always work out, but you try your best to do it. Everyone on the committee, I will say, as a voluntary organisation, they don't just come with pedigree, they actually come with heart. To be fair to the lads, their hearts are in it, 100%. If something pops up out of the blue, we're on to each other. Can you cover this? Can I cover that? Can we there? We have managers like Gavin and Nolly. We have managers of the intermediate team, Steve Walsh. We have the C team, which was, we say, Eamon Dolan, and we had Dean Ringer, the captain, looking after. So we put managers in place to look after it. We also have a delegate for each team from each bar that come in regular meetings all year round, so we can all interact. And sometimes it's a case that, even though we might have a great idea, someone else's idea is even better. That's what we do. That's what it's on. So we go over it. We work together. We don't challenge each other. We go for the better pool. But with the changes, with the facilities here, and I have to mention our sponsors. I know Gavin touched off a while ago. Heineken Ireland, obviously, they sponsor all our leagues and cups, and there's a Beamish Cup and Foster's Knockout Cups and stuff as well, so they give sponsorship there. We have Eddie Walsh of Tech Engineering, and Alan Keane of AK Tipping, who, I say, if he's not doing half the country at the moment looking after the lads, but he's definitely looking after everyone in Cork at the moment, you know. He's travelling the length and the breadth of Cork, like, from, we say, Cove to Macroom to here. He travels everywhere to do, and he's mainly down here then to do jobs. Without these guys involved, we truly rely on those sponsorships, and we're lucky to have them, and lucky to have these facilities. And Ray O'Mahony, as I said, has been outstanding with the facilities he gives us here. He puts in sponsorship towards Rebel Cups and, we say, memorial tournaments outside that. So, like, we're very, very lucky as a committee to have this involvement there. But I think, as Gavin said previously in the interview, that there's a kind of a vision there that was there, that people knew they were good enough to win more titles over the last couple of years, and very, very unlucky being beaten in qualifying, semi-finals, knocking on the door all the time, just couldn't get over the line. My personal thing is that these facilities here that drew the attention, they're top class tables, they're the same type tables they play in the All-Irelands, so to get a chance to play on that here 5 days a week, your pool is improving, you're going down playing on similar tables, and the lads are putting in the practice and dedication. Even Ryan Cronin winning the individuals this year, I saw the reaction of Ryan this year when he won it. It was phenomenal because he knows how hard it is doing it. I know Gary have 3 or 4 titles and Casey and a couple of others, and Ryan being a top class player over the years as well, and a good leader, a great leader for the A team this year, and a good lad on and off the table as well when you get to know him, to be fair, but a true leader, and he led them with the management of the lads. But these lads, they're also pushing other fellas on, as Riser said earlier on in an interview as well, that the lads are coming in and they're like, come on, we go down there, and they're showing fellas stuff and they're helping them too. So the growth aspect isn't just down to the committee, even though we appreciate the feedback. It's kind of a mutual thing where the players are putting it in, the top stalwarts are helping others, the committee are trying to do everything right. There's so much pull throughout the years, and then to facilitate when the lads are playing for Ireland and snooker and stuff for other fellas away on money matches and stuff, we do the best we can with it. And I think nobody can complain about really as such, but the work that's been done is phenomenal. But the rewards out there, that's where we get off kicked in, you know.
Tom and Karl. Gav, the 2 lads next year, obviously fundamentals, the same, the dream team, characters, you know what I mean, presence. It seems to be all there when it comes to Cork and pooling Cork and Cork City. But listen, fundamental work being put in every day, every week. As you say, when you go home, there's family life, there's things going on. Sometimes it's hard to switch off. You have to be dug into papers, getting things ready. It never stops, but look, I suppose it's worth it when you do have these titles and going into history books. It means a lot.
Without doubt, John, like, I can't say enough for the lads here next to me, you know what I mean? Fairness now, they put in so much effort, like. Even Steve Walsh, Dave Lark and the other lads in the committee, like, that makes the job easy, you know, like, the work they do, you know, like, as Karl was only saying, no, I know you need to put a small bit in it, but like, to organise for Clowney, and Gary said it, like, we're the biggest company going to Clowney. I think ourselves in Wexford or something like that, but like, imagine the amount of money that has to go through accounts, you have to follow everything, and to get to a, down to a, like we say, down to precision, like, you know, so small that you can't make no mistake because you might mislead at 5 or 10 or that way, and the way they do it, like, you know, I think Stevie's a treasure there, like, and he's just phenomenal, like, I tell you now, like, outside of his own job, I know he works it, but like, for treasure, like, just the money that goes through it, he has it all down to a T. Even the tops there, we went to team all there, supposed to Shane not there for the tops as well. He, like, Stevie had everything done, like all the size, not one size wrong as well, like, you know. And I think there was over 180 tops or something like that, like, you know. So, you know, all for your giving your time there, like, and it's brilliant. But another thing I want to touch on there, Joe, there actually, like, and I think a lot of sports could take this away from this. Like on a Tuesday night we play pool. We know what's happening above in Kennigs or above in Brian Dillon's, above in other places. By putting in our app, we put in the win. And you can see you put in your teams at the start and then you put in a win as the frame. So we can see it's updated straight away. And that's all down to Dave Larkin as well. He's done that now for the last 5-6 years. I know why other clubs or other associations aren't doing like that. So like that, it's just such a good app to have, like, you know. But the lads make the job first look easy. Like, they do unbelievable. You know?
And like, it sounds exciting. You mentioned that app, right? You mentioned like the fact you're able to go where you're playing a game, you know what's going on elsewhere.
Yeah.
Must be some excitement. Like if the two teams are, you know, battling to
Well,
top a group or whatever, like, and you have it all there on the phone. That's game changing.
It's unbelievable. Like that's what I said, you know. Like you know what's happening if you're going to top the group, or if you're going to be third, or if you're going to get into qualification. You can see that. The pool usually starts at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night. You can see at 9:05 what's happening. And like, you know, it's just so good of an app, like, you know. Like no way other sports don't choose it. But that's all look to the commentary as well, like they're just phenomenal. Like,
But to be fair, Joel, in Dave Larkin's side of it, the man's a genius of what he does. Steve Walsh, as I said, will go treasurer. I've no problem saying it, like, with the kind of money you're dealing with, seeing as we're representing 8 teams. So you have individual fees, accommodation fees, the trial fees come back, everything that goes into the trials is paid, the trials then comes off that. So cheapens as well. Then the sponsors that we deal with on an ongoing basis helping us out. It ends up that we go down to Clarny with these lads, but the work that's done, and as you know, whether you're a voluntary organisation or not, everything has to be accounted for. So the way Steve does it above, it's down to the penny, and then it's all backed up digitally online, so on your computers and stuff like that, so you can go in and see who won it last, or how many people were in it, this and that. But when you log on then as well, you can see how many entries has gone into the over 50s, the over 40s, the 8 individuals. It's just an app, and it's so good and so thorough and transparent that you can see how many are in it, how many people there, what the draw is. And as Gavin said, then when it comes to the trials, so when fellas top the group in trials, they get seeded then obviously in the next trial.
Yeah.
So that gives other fellas a chance to come through. So like, you won't have we say if Gary tops the group and Ryan tops the group, they're not clashing against each other for another 2 trials where they're taking points off each other. So it allows other fellas then to step up and push themselves to beat the best of the best, to become the best, if you understand. So, I mean, Eamon Dolan then, Andy, Ivan, myself come to tournaments and organising that and overseeing tournaments. Like some of the tournaments here are all day Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, they're 2 separate, like coming through, because the numbers are huge. And then you're here spending all day Saturday and Sunday here overseeing it just in case there's a rule gone wrong or something that doesn't know it. So the time is consuming. But as I said earlier, the lads come with great pedigree and heart, and that's been honest. And
but just as well there, Jerry, you know, we'd say, like even, like what I found, there's a fair band here, in the sense, like we'd say, if a lesser player comes in against a top player and he asks some advice, they've no problem playing a few frames together with each other, like, and the top player could show him where he's going wrong, or, like the advice they're getting is frightening, like our fellas, like, and there's nobody kind of saying, nah, he's too good for him, nah. They just all sit down there and play together. They could sit down and have a pint together. So that's only like that's band, like, you know, but you can't play band, like.
That's a Cork thing, definitely.
That's a Cork thing, definitely.
and they're not looked at either, Joe, as a lesser player really as such, even though the standing might be lesser. So if a new fella starts next week, he gets the same treatment as the top player. We were adamant about that, whether you're the best player, the weakest player. Those that come through and keep plugging in, keep trying, keep running, and go out and play the top end level players and beat them and get your scalp from there and move on and learn it and enjoy it. If you're enjoying it, big factor, Gary touched it a while ago, enjoy the game. If you enjoy the game, you play more. But there's any of the fellas who come in there, when I'm walking on watching the tournaments, they come up and say, geez, I've Ryan Corn or Gary in the next one. The next thing they might lose 5-3 or 5-4 in a trial. And they go, geez, I had chances, I didn't do too bad. That spurs them on then as well. And even when they come in then the following 2 days later, and they might be having a point, as Gavin said, or just practicing, and Ryan's off to them, well, look, you didn't know you played well, no, keep going. So there is a fair span there. From committee level down to the bottom level tier players that are coming in. We also have to give a mention there that I nearly forgot about, is that we have a deaf team in as well.
That's
Like the lads come in. So some of the rules where we have a 10-second, 5-second shot clock, We were trying to figure out how can we facilitate them, can we do it? That's down to the HAP. They're playing out the HAP are gone from 1 team to 3 teams over the last year, so there is good growth out there, whatever they're doing in the bar themselves. And we come along now, so we tap the table ourselves, physically, vision, so that they can see it. And then we tap it the second time at 5, so we go from 10 to 5. So the deaf lads understand what we're doing, so they can keep the watch. Which, like, I think there's first credit due to the lads with the deaf, because some fellas are sitting at home saying, oh, I'd love to play that sport, but I can't because I'm deaf and I can't do this, can't do that. So for Cork to facilitate it and bring the boys in, and Gavin and the lads will tell you, they absolutely love the game.
Yeah.
They love it. Like, they come in and they're all shaking hands and we're delighted to be involved. And I think there's great credit due to them as well. Like,
Massive.
you know.
And like we mentioned, obviously, look, there's obviously categories. You know, we mentioned the ladies now might break through in due course. Anything for juniors? Obviously, look, they can't play in pubs because they're underage. But do you reckon there might be something introduced in due course, maybe for juniors?
One of the problems still really, I suppose, Joel, is that most kids can't be inside the pub after 9 o'clock, which is understandable, I suppose. So that stops us then from under 18-year-olds coming in playing, because they won't be allowed to play in the bar. They are allowed to take up the sport and play in individual tournaments here. We do an under 23s tournament here as well, with Sean O'Connell would be the star player there as such. Sean has won the titles in Killarney this year. He's winning local tournaments, but he's also a current European champion as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What that man has done as a young fella bringing through, and there's a lot of young fellas then looking up to him for that and want to be the new Sean O'Connell watch, which helps bring players on. But our hands are kind of tied there really, because of under 18s allowed into a bar after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll change, but certainly all I'd say to fellas is get involved, come down, enter the local tournaments. You can register to Cork Pool for €5 as an individual player. You know what I mean? You don't have to be on teams, but that still allows them to go into singles and doubles and underage tournaments, and even the A and B singles and stuff if you wanted to.
And that's enough then.
But even for the kids there, though, Jerry, they come down here if they're accompanied by an adult as well, like.
Yeah.
And they can join up here and play here anyway, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like
So-
if there was venues there, like as you said,
And it's a venue where they can't play down here as well, yeah.
Maybe like
But we do see it there. We do see kids coming on with their dads and stuff there, knocking off floors, because obviously, like, this is a kind of a, I won't say a private facility, but it's a top quality facility.
Yeah.
It's more of a club than a bar, do you know what I mean? And I mean, we're honoured and lucky to have it.
Definitely.
And I think it's after helping players, top end players, including the latter end players. Like as I said to you earlier on, they came in here first, we were watching them and saying, yeah, they're taking up the sport. Just the improvement of those lads in a year or two. Lads go down jumping all over each other at 18 level. Fellas are jumping all over each other over 50s levels, over 60s levels in the all-rounds. The women were delighted that they got through a couple rounds themselves. And then you have the younger fellas, as we call them, we say junior B, junior C and all these things, intermediate, so A, B, C and D teams. Like the C and D teams down there, lads, the support that they showed each other.
Yeah.
To try and get through. The way they were there, fella made a mistake, he lost the frame. There was no giving up. It was like, forget about it, it's done. Come on, as Ryan had said earlier, the next player, Gary, goes in after Ryan if he loses a frame. And Gary picks Ryan up then by winning the next frame. So the boys like, next time round, you know what to do. Come on, you were unlucky there. Support there is phenomenal. From A all the way through the teams, all 8 teams. And as we said earlier, we are probably one of the biggest entries in the All-Irelands now with 8 teams. And if it grows any more, it's going to be a lot more work for the Cork team. So.
But even there, Jerry,
That's a good
saying,
thing.
like, even we'd say, coming in with we'd say, as Carl said, no, the intermediate, you know, like, Keane Coughlin got to a final this year, like, beating the final, like, you know, like, Keane, like, we plays leisurely, like, you know, and, but you see, no, he put in a good effort there, I know we'd said last 2 months as well, like everyone else, but, like, he played, I stayed him for the week below, so, like, and I was at most of his games, like, and he was superb, like, you know, he was unlucky he ran up against in the final against a very good player, but, like, fellas like him probably wouldn't have got the chance of getting to them intermediate finals if it weren't for these facilities, like.
And some of the lads later down the lines as well, the likes of over the years, but this year now you had Eamon Dolan got a run, Paul Noonan got a run in the over 60s, Cian Cochran got there, Tony Moore got to the semi-final of the individuals just behind what Sean won.
it's good to have Tony back as well, because I know
And-
he was
and
a
Tony-
great snooker player.
Tony, as I said, over the years he's been, you know, as Gavin said, touching off sickness and stuff. To come back from that, to have that attitude to go down there, and for me, I think it's the best ball I've ever seen him play. In all the years, you know, he was just on it this year, and he was up for it, and he was support. and the concentration levels were through the roof. So the likes of Ryan and all them, you would hear about the Caseys and the Ryans and the Gary Brackens, but there's other fellas in the background that are stepping up too that are well capable. As I said, there's probably 7 or 8 of them there. They're just phenomenal, like, you know.
It's tough at the top, isn't it?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I love watching. I wouldn't be at the top level of them, like, but
Yeah.
I still compete over there. But to watch them play, to watch what they do outside, what we're happy enough, what we're doing in the levels we're playing at, but to watch what they're doing is phenomenal. You know?
Definitely, lads. Look, it's an honour and a privilege being here. We're going to make sure there's going to be a lot more coverage over the months and years to come. You're doing a fantastic job, credit where it's due, and hopefully back to back all ends.
Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, lads.
Thank
Appreciate it.
You, lads.